All right, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Backyard Slinging Podcast. We actually got another guest on for the first time in forever. This would be Scott Bennett. He is my cousin's husband. So, what's going on, Scott?
It's nice to be here. I'm actually home, sitting at home in Grand Junction for once. I've been traveling quite a bit for work, so
Yeah, I think that's Christina's kind of been telling me a little bit because I was talking with her about having you guys on and stuff like that.
yeah. I've been getting to LA and Phoenix area a lot. Been in Arizona a lot this winter, so it's
Yeah,
kind
what
of
is
nice.
that for the campground stuff or?
Yeah, so where I'm working now, um, I was a regional over like 12 parks. Now I'm over 38, and then if we
Wow.
bring on another partner, it'll be another 38. It'll be 76 total.
Good grief. And where all do they go from?
California, Arizona, Utah, Colorado, Las Vegas, um, Texas, and a few scattered throughout. There's like one in Toledo, Ohio, one in Des Moines,
Oh, jeez.
Iowa, and one in Massachusetts.
Gee.
Yeah, it's been,
So, yeah. What are these? They're like the campgrounds?
some are campgrounds, some are mobile home parks.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
'Cause,
so I try to plan my hunting season around that, and that's kind of as best as I can.
yeah. That's tough enough just being home, really, and
Yeah,
between that and work.
it is.
But yeah. So what we just got home 25 minutes ago. We went up to PA to the meadow grounds,
Okay.
see if we could see any ducks. No ducks. We heard some geese, but didn't see any ducks. I think it was a little too not overcast for them, I guess.
Nice bluebird day.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So hopefully, I think we might try again Saturday. Hopefully Saturday will be a little bit better.
When's your duck season go out?
It's all over the place. So last week, well, a couple days ago, I went up because I was going to go out up and scout a little bit. I took the dog, and I get there, woke up early, went up, got there. It's an hour and a half from our house now, and I get there, get out of the truck, put my waders on. I ain't got no shot shells. They're in my car at home that I had used the other day to go hunting. So I just loaded up, went home. So because duck was in PA, but I didn't have shells, so I came home and I'm like, well, I'm just gonna go down to the river here by the house. I get there, waders on, get in the water, and I'm like, something doesn't feel right. And I'm just like, I'm gonna look it up. For some reason, Virginia has a 2.5 week break of duck season, and we're in that break right now. So I unloaded the shotgun, even though I could have just been hunting squirrels because squirrels in. So it's hunting squirrels from the river. But um, and as soon as I unloaded it, it took like 5 more steps. 4 pintails jump up and fly right by me at like 15 yards.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. We haven't seen any pintail yet. We've been hunting. Toby really likes duck hunting, so we've been getting out as much as possible.
I
We
have
went.
heard.
Yeah, we went Sunday and we saw. We didn't see many. We saw a ton of sandhill cranes though.
Yeah.
Uh, and you can't hunt sandhill cranes west of the Continental Divide in Colorado.
Huh.
So we were covered up in them though.
Wow.
Yeah. But we've been seeing a lot of mallards and teal. We saw some teal. Um, but haven't seen any pintails yet. In November, we were seeing some mergansers,
Yeah.
uh, but it seems like it's just kind of kicking off here. There's not a ton of birds in the area yet.
I
East,
think it's the same here.
yeah. My uncle lives on the Front Range. He lives in Aurora, outside Denver,
Mm-hmm.
and he's a big goose hunter, and he's been seeing good numbers of geese down there.
Yeah.
Can't say he's really been talking. He's more of a field hunter, so he's more into geese than ducks,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
he's on some clubs, so once in a while he'll get on the South Platte and hunt ducks and get into them. But they'll see some divers, golden eyes, buffleheads, stuff like that.
I can't remember. I've been watching like a bunch of like the Meat Eater channel,
Uh huh.
and I can't remember what it was. One of their episodes they were talking about. I can't remember which breed of duck, but there's one that like it'll start. A lot of them will be like up in the central U.S. up north, but then they don't come straight down. They'll go the whole way out to the Pacific and come down
Really?
for some reason because they've been getting the bands like
Out.
in California and down there, but they're banded up in like North Dakota or something.
Huh.
I
Interesting.
can't remember what uh, which ducks it was, but
So we're living in Grand Junction now, but last year we were living on the Idaho Utah border,
yeah,
and we saw a lot of swans there, and the swans would come from like western Wyoming, western Montana, and they'll come down, they'll hit the Salt Lake, and then they cut over to the Sacramento Valley in
yeah,
California. So instead of going down, they're kind of cutting east. It's interesting.
yeah. I think that's the kind of the same thing that was with whatever ducks is. I can't remember what the heck it was, but yeah,
Kind of wonder if it is pintail because pintails are big on the Pacific coast. They're like
it might be what it was.
we're allowed three pintails on the Pacific coast. Like, so Colorado, we're on the western slope, and we have the Pacific coast regulations over here, and
Okay.
then front slopes follows the central flyway.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to look, but I like we're allowed three pintails on this side. I don't. I think they might be two, similar to like what you got. Are you two pintails?
I think so.
Yeah,
I know mallards is 4, wood ducks is 3, pintails is either 2 or 3. I think you're right. I think it is 2. But I think that's all I have seen on the river here by the house is pintails.
really.
Yeah. I
What river?
went last year. I have yet to get one, but I haven't quite figured it out
Yeah.
because last year I tried with a kayak, but they just take off long before you even get close enough, even if you're just floating.
Last year we didn't see them until late season out here in Utah. We were kind of hunting north of Salt Lake. There's a lot of marshy areas, and we were seeing
Mm-hmm.
them out there, but it was late in the season when we were seeing them. We were still getting into mallards and gadwalls and stuff like that, but the pintails just, I don't know, haven't had them come into the decoys yet.
Do y'all eat them?
Yeah, yeah.
Which one do you like the most?
I don't know. To me, they're all pretty similar. The widgeon, we've had widgeon, and it wasn't bad. Yeah, the fish eating ones are pretty strong. They're like they remind me of liver. So we had some merganser, and it's straight up like liver.
Okay.
It's as long as you cook it like that, like it's liver. Because I like liver and onions, so
Right.
just gotta prep it like that. Not expect something else. Um, a lot of I've heard people talk crap on mallards, but I actually don't mind mallards. I think they're all right.
Yeah. I think
I
what I heard is one of the teals.
really,
I think it's the green wings. They're like, yeah, they're not good, but then everyone loves the wood ducks.
really
Everyone, from what I've heard, I guess wood ducks is a clear favorite.
okay. I can't say it's been a while since I had wood duck. We used to get into wood ducks when we lived in Chambersburg, but
Where did y'all go?
we used to have access to some private land along the Conococheague.
See, that's what I was actually just thinking, talking to my wife on the way home today. I'm like, I was thinking, she's like, where do the ducks go when they're not, migrating? I'm like, well, they go to the McDonald's behind
Yeah,
behind the McDonald's in Chambersburg, and I'm like, oh, that's the Conococheague.
yeah.
I'm like, well, we just gotta freaking walk the Conococheague. That's all we gotta do.
I know, like further down towards like the West Branch, where the West and the East Branch kind of join. I think you could probably float through there pretty well. I've
Yeah,
known the guys that would float for squirrels through that section.
yeah, yeah. I think I also thought that maybe that could be a way to get around the boat
Yeah,
issue because everything has to be registered in PA. I'm like, let's just get a couple inner tubes and float down, float
uh,
down the river.
be good. I think Remember, because I did work when I worked with the Fish and Boat Commission. I learned some of this, but your kayaks and your unpowered boats, the way it used to be was if you're not launching from a state launch, it didn't have to be registered if it's unpowered. You just can't access from like state access points. So if you access from like a bridge or private land and get out of private land, it doesn't need to be registered.
Okay.
If it's
Huh.
unpowered, like kayak or canoe.
Yeah. So going with that, say if we go up to like the meadow grounds,
Yeah, since state that's state game land, so you'd have to be registered up there.
even if we didn't put in at the boat dock.
Yeah, probably just because it's the state game lands owns the property.
Okay.
Same with like Cowan's Gap, it's a state park, so you'd have to
Yeah.
have air places like that. So you could get around it like the Susquehanna.
Yeah.
If you're not launching at Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission access points, or like you could get around it on that.
Okay. So like that in the creek there, the
Yeah,
Conococheague.
yeah,
Well, that's good to know. That's definitely something we could do. We could just grab our. I have a 12-foot aluminum John boat that I've been using on the river here, and I haven't put a motor on it at all.
okay, yeah,
So yeah, because I'll put her in the boat and we'll float down from our point. Because in Virginia, if it doesn't have a motor, you don't have to register it at all.
okay,
So we just put in at one of the boat launches and we float down to one of the islands, hop off, stash the boat, and then put the decoys in the little shallow calm area there. At least that's what we're going to try doing now. I feel like it'd be a good spot. I saw the four pintails. That's where they jumped up from last week when I saw them. So I think it'll be a pretty decent plan. And then it's shallow enough that I can just walk it back and she can stay in the boat
yeah, that works.
as long as it
What's
doesn't
the anchor
rain.
you're using? What
What's
size
that?
anchor are you using on your decoys?
Whatever I came with. I can't remember. It might be, if I had to guess, it ain't maybe a 5 or 6 ounce.
Okay, we're hunting on the Colorado, and like Toby has these. They're like inflatable decoys, and we
Uh
just put 2 ounces on them because I was like, there's no weight to them, so they don't really need. But I didn't think of like current,
huh.
and I don't trust them on the river, so my decoys all have 4 ounces, and even some of those were pulling anchor.
Yeah.
Last time we set up, I got a little wet chasing one down the river. Haven't,
Yeah. I think ours is around that, but there's some spots where it gets ripping a little bit.
yeah, they make
But
6 ounces, so you could be using that. I
it
try to stay
might
away
be.
from the current as best. Like the current's good because it gives motion to your decoys, but at the same
Hmm.
time, I think the ducks are looking for those calm little spots behind. Like if you can find an island, like you're saying,
Yeah.
where it
Oh,
cuts
we
the
got this
current, I
one.
think they love to sit on the backside of islands.
But yeah, I think that's the same thing because like where we're going, it kind of so it has the main body, and then it'll split off to the left, and then a little bit further down, it'll split again. So it'll be at one point it'll be three different ones, and that middle one is real shallow at the
Mm,
start of it, and then it'll probably gets to about a foot and a half maybe deep, and it's just a real calm little pool.
okay.
So I think that's where we're gonna stick the decoys in there. Um, and I'm all new to all the duck hunting and stuff. I just really got into it the last 2 years. I have yet to get one.
Really?
So yeah, I still haven't got one.
Okay. So
Whatever. Yeah.
my dad, I grew up like waterfowl hunting. That's kind of, I love it all. Small game, waterfowl, big game. Like I love anything. If I have a gun in my hands and I'm in the field, I'm happy. But
Yeah.
when I grew up, my dad was more into waterfowl. His cousin was really that's all he did was waterfowl hunt. And we spent a lot of time in Pennsylvania, mainly hunting geese. We hunted more geese than ducks, but
Mm-hmm.
once in a while we'd go out for ducks. Normally that early season in October, um, and we just set up somewhere along the Conococheague. We had a couple different private land spots. But then Toby's gotten really into it. And when we were out here, like that's the first that I've kind of done it myself, where I'm the one, laying out the decoys and doing the
Yeah.
calling and I'm not just tagging along, but I've remembered a lot from being a kid. And we're not like slaying them. We haven't limited it out yet, but we're at least killing some ducks, and it's fun. It's fun working them into the decoys and everything. Um, and seeing Toby's like excitement for it really gets it. It makes me more excited because I would say I'm more of a big game hunter. I really love going out with a
Yeah.
rifle and chasing stuff, but it gives me
Yeah.
a different thing. It's a little easier. We can go for a morning hunt. When I'm big game hunting, I'm taking days and like
Oh yeah.
as possible. So
Yeah. I feel like um, for that, it's probably you probably even taken more days than you normally would when you lived over here
yeah,
because I guess you have the elk, um, you have mountain goats and bighorns out there.
yeah, So like I try to tell my boys ask all the time why I like it out here. And I was like, I wanted to be in the mountains. Plus, there's just a variety of big game. So we have
Oh
antelope,
yeah.
mule deer, we have elk, mountain goat, bighorn, desert bighorn, moose, um, and some areas of like some of these western states, you have whitetails. It's just certain
Mm.
spots, more the eastern side of the states, or like Idaho, northern Idaho has whitetails. It's just there's so much, and bear. We still have bear and turkey, so
Yeah.
that's all.
Yeah. It's a lot more than here. Here we just got turkey, whitetail, and squirrels.
Yeah, and I
And
kind of
occasional black bear.
yeah, I kind of fell in love with. Came out elk hunting when I was 15, and with my uncle, and kind of fell in love with the Rockies then, and then started coming back out here elk hunting in 2015, so about 10 years ago, and with my brother-in-law. My brother-in-law and me just got. I'd put it like this: elk hunting sucks, but it also like I love it. Like when you're doing it, it's hard, and there's nothing easy about it,
Yeah.
and it wears on you. But as soon as you leave those mountains, you're ready to go back. I don't know.
Oh,
I remember
yeah,
in
I could see
2015,
that.
my brother-in-law, we were archery hunting, and he killed a cow here in Colorado, and we packed it out, packed camp out, and it was like a miserable hike out with all that weight. And on the
Yeah.
way home, we're both exhausted, and we got like a 20-something hour drive back. And we both looked at each other, and we were like, "Never again." Maybe in 5 years. And before like application season for the next year, we were already talking about coming back out. So
Yeah.
it just takes a little time.
I've from the stuff that I've seen because I haven't been out there at all. Um, you definitely have to work out in
Yeah,
preparation for a lot. Actually, I'd say a decent amount of like, including the elk. I'm sure a mountain goat and bighorn is probably the same way because they're up there
yeah,
typically. Yeah.
yeah. So altitude obviously affects a lot of people differently.
Oh yeah.
But to me, it's like you don't know how it's going to affect. I've read an article one time by I think it's Craig Boddingham or Bodingham. I don't know how you pronounce his name, but he hunts all over the world and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And he's hunted at altitude. I don't know, dozens of times, and he's had altitude sickness twice. So like even though he's done it so many times, he's still had times where he got altitude sickness. So it's like it could still get you, even if you're not like susceptible to it. It's
Yeah.
better to just be prepared, be as well prepared as possible. And to me, that was drink lots of fluids. Like that's an easy one.
Yeah.
If you get
Yeah.
dehydrated, your blood's already having a harder time getting to your brain. So like, drink a lot of water. Even when and like out here, it's easy not to think about it. That's why
Yeah.
like we like having camel packs where we have the straw going straight to our chest so we can suck water while we're moving. Um, and that's just such a big thing out here. When I hunted in the East, I didn't think about water. Like,
No. No.
I'd
No.
maybe pack like a bottle for the day or like a cup of coffee.
Maybe.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
Like beforehand, and you just leave it in the back of the truck
yeah.
when you get back.
And now it's like you have to consciously make yourself aware to keep drinking and everything, or you can go downhill quick. And on that, sometimes like we We bounce a little bit. We've done some car camping. We've done some backcountry hunting. And like, if you're backcountry, like you might be a couple hour hike from the car. Like you gotta
Yeah.
make sure. And chances are we're getting water from some seep in the mountain somewhere, and we're filtering it and drinking it there. So it's you got to keep that in mind. Like, you might wake up in the morning and have 2 liters left, and you're gonna jump down in this bowl. Well, you need to make sure there's water down in that bowl before you jump, because you're not gonna come out with with two
Yeah.
liters left. You're gonna suck that down when you go down in there, or go down with full water, or I don't know. There's just water is a complicated issue when you're in like just constantly
Yeah.
gotta think about it. And getting in shape, helps too. Just trying to, I liked rocking, like carrying weight and
Yeah.
going like up mountains. So I used to hike I try to run through the week, and just do like normal gym stuff through the week, and then on weekends I try to ruck, and I do like 7 miles with like, and I'd up the weights as I
Right.
got closer to the season. I'd go like 10 pound increments, start low at like 50 pounds and try to get up to like 90 pounds.
Yeah.
And that was pretty, that worked for me. And I just try to stick with a pace, set a timer, stick with
Yeah.
that pace and see what you could do. And then there towards the end, I started even just rucking it. Like we had a steep backyard when we lived there in Chambersburg.
Hmm.
I just go up and down that backyard, and the downs. I hate downs more than I.
Oh, especially if you have that weight on. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really pushing on you, and like kind of wears your ankles and calves and
Yeah.
shins. Typically. So like that was a great way for me to just do it. I just go up and down, and it was only like 40 yards, but of up and down, but it's constant. So you can do that for like an hour, and that's a
Yeah.
solid workout.
Oh yeah, that's definitely something we could do here with our house that we got in. When did we get this? December last year. Like it's the whole yard is just down,
Yeah.
which sucks because we have to a lot of leveling that we got to do, especially for our chickens.
Okay.
They get about washed out anytime it rains. So poor chicken house, but the ducks love it. But yeah, we have all kinds of animals now. We got ducks, we got chickens, and we got goats.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
I hope we'll probably, if we can find a good deal, we're probably gonna get a couple mini cows and donkeys.
Okay.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
What do you do with mini cows? Just
Just have them
anything?
as pets, really.
You
We might try to breed them actually. So
really?
because they're getting very popular now.
Okay.
They're definitely. I've seen them sold for as high as $15,000 now.
Damn.
Yeah, I'm trying to find one under 1,000. That's tough. But
Nice.
yeah, so Toby's into ducks, and he said Ryan's not too much into hunting as much as.
Yeah. So Ryan likes turkey hunting. That's one
Okay,
he really enjoys, and so we didn't claim our residency when we were in Utah. We still had a residency in Pennsylvania.
okay,
Uh, we were bouncing around so much in Utah, we didn't want to switch yet. So a non-resident use permit for turkey in Utah was like 115 bucks.
good
In
grief.
Oregon, it was like, I think all said and done, it was like 18.
Yeah,
So we were only, I think, 8 hours from Oregon, something like that. So we'd drive to Oregon and we started hunting turkeys over there, and that was a blast. And another state on my list to hunt. So we hunted one year or in Utah, and I don't know, it was tough. We were kind of chasing desert turkeys, so you're really limited to like one creek bottom and not a lot
yeah,
of birds. They weren't vocal.
huh?
They gobble on the roost and then they'd be done. So we just didn't like that. We had some close calls. He had a close call on a Jake there, um, and then the next season we started hunting in Oregon. He missed one this year. That was I don't know. We called in 5 Jakes this year, all in one group. Came right in, worked perfectly, and he whiffed on the shot. So he was pretty bummed. He was just heartbroken, I'd say. Pretty tough. But it was. I don't think it was our. I think it was our the afternoon before we were leaving. So we had still had the next morning, and I think he just felt dejected because he's worked hard, and uh, we got like a close call, and then he completely missed, and he just felt like he wasn't going to get one, which he didn't end up getting one. So he took it really hard. He's putting a lot of pressure on himself to kill his first turkey.
Hey, Corey, guess what?
What?
We got our second sponsor. So that's freaking awesome.
Nice.
This one, though, is kind of go more for our veterans and our first responders and military members. It is called Hero Link. All right. So it's got a little kind of a silicone band or a wristband that you can wear. They also have wallet cards that you can put in your wallet. Um, but essentially, it's a non-electronic, doesn't need batteries, a wearable digital ID tag. So in the case that you are incapacitated on the job and you're not able to answer questions that the emergency personnel need to know in order to give you the best treatment possible, it is all on this. All they have to do is scan it with any smartphone and it'll pop up with your profile with your information, like your blood type, your next of kin, your emergency contacts, your employer, whatever you want to put on there, it'll be there for them to see to give you the proper care.
Oh wow.
So if y'all want
That's
to head on, yeah, it's freaking awesome. So if y'all want to head on over to Hero Link and use our code SLINGIN with no G at the end, SLINGIN, SLINGIN, to let them know that you heard it from us.
That's
Yeah, I feel like that might be like a common thing, no matter the age. People that
yeah,
are first starting out,
yeah,
because my wife was the same way today,
really,
and because she's just now got into it and had interest in it this year, and she's gone out, she's got her license, took the safety course, got a shotgun, a rifle, got a bow, she got all of it. She's
uh,
in, but now it's the third time we've gone out for ducks and haven't seen any. And she's like, I'm tired of getting skunked. I'm like, well, it's going to happen until we find where they are and have a
yeah.
good spot, especially for ducks. But yeah.
I love like learning new areas, and a lot of times that comes with there's sometimes it's a whole season of just
Mm-hmm.
learning before you really get into figuring stuff out, and like it can be tricky to get through. Sometimes it's good to mix in something easy,
Yeah. A
or
little bit
something
of
get back
squirrels
in
or something.
something. No, yeah, squirrels are great. Doves are fun. That's what me and Toby were actually hunting waterfowl, and I was really trying to get decoy the ducks. This is Toby's first year hunting.
Okay.
Last year he tagged along a bunch, and he got his hunter ed finished in like February. So he got out a couple times for geese, but ducks were already done.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so this year we're going, and like the whole point is trying to get Toby a duck. And so I'm trying to get him to land in the decoys.
Yeah.
and we've had some land in the decoys. He's missed two in the decoys. So we're working through it, but it's tough because we're really working the birds, really trying to get them in,
Yeah.
and it's just a lot harder. And
Oh yeah.
so one time, I think it was in November, like mid-November, it was just like, all right, let's take a break from the ducks. He wanted to go back. We went in the morning, and he wanted to go back out in the afternoon. I was like, let's try something else. So we went out after doves, and he ended up killing a dove and had a blast. Now he wants to go dove on, on it, and it's like sometimes you just got to mix it up.
Yeah. Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah,
I'm set on duck. I want a duck so bad. But I feel like once our duck opens back up here in Virginia on the 18th, I think we'll have a good chance on those pintails on the river.
yeah.
I think we'll have a pretty decent chance there. So hopefully, I think it'll be all right.
I like after those little breaks. It seems like the ducks they're not quite as decoy shy sometimes after those breaks. That helps.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know. I want to say the ducks here in the Atlantic flyways because that's the lowest harvest numbers over here
Is
out
it?
of the four. I don't know. It's we don't have the least amount of hunters, but I feel like in our area it's kind of not where we're hunting anyway. Most of the people are over on the coast,
Yeah,
and like especially in the Chesapeake, that's a huge area. Um, but then other than that, probably not much here where we're at in like Northern Virginia.
yeah.
So we're hoping that we just catch on to them here.
That probably helps. You probably have a little bit less numbers being further from the coast, but if they're not
Yeah.
getting hunted hard, you can still have good days.
Well, I'm hoping so. I hope those four pintails hang around for another couple weeks. And it was four drakes too.
Really?
Oh
I
yeah,
think pintails are that's one of my favorite birds.
they were pretty.
The
They
Drake wood ducks, but we don't
yeah.
see them out here.
Huh. I think
We saw one in
yeah
Utah, and it was at a park
yeah
getting fed bread.
yeah. Either that or behind the McDonald's getting French fries.
That's right.
But yeah, so I don't know. I think earlier we were kind of looking, or at least I was. I went through like a bunch of the states out there and looking like their out of state fees and stuff like that for hunting. And it's
Hmm.
crazy how much some of them vary. Like I think an out of state license for Montana was like $18 or something.
For the oh, is that for the military?
I think it's for the general,
Really?
just for the general license. One of the states I saw was like really low, and then like another one is like $170.
Hmm.
And then the difference in the tags for each animal and stuff like that. Like Montana wolf tags or Idaho wolf tags are real low. They're like $35.
Yeah, yeah. Idaho is cheap on the wolf tags. Idaho has this interesting thing, and I don't think it's all units. I think it's some units, but you can substitute. Like if you have an elk tag, you can substitute it for what they call a lesser species. So like wolves, mountain lion, and bear.
Mm.
So you can't if you're hunting elk and you run into a mountain lion, you could tag it, and then you'd be done. But you have a mountain lion, kind of
Oh yeah,
cool.
I'll take
It's in
that.
My brother was really into that. But you can also just pick up the extra tag cheap too. So
Yeah,
probably better to go that route. And then you still have a tag.
that's kind of something we were looking at, especially with her getting into it. And then, I mean, I've always wanted to. I think
So,
for me, it'd be real hard because the thing I really want to hunt the most is bighorn sheep,
yeah,
and that's a tough one to get.
yeah. The draw lines. So like when I think of Western species, there's like deer, antelope, and elk. They're all very doable every year type.
Mm.
Um, as a non-resident, like it can still get hit your wallet pretty good.
Yeah,
Uh, but the once in a lifetime species, man, they're tough. Mountain goat, bighorn sheep, moose, and bison, because there's some states with bison.
yeah.
They're they're tough to draw. The odds are stacked against you, but you just kind of if you're not doing it through the state draws, which they're all tough and they're an investment. Like almost got to think of it as an investment. Then
Yeah.
you're looking at auction tags, and auction tags you're going
Oh
against
yeah.
the big boys. So you're talking thousands of dollars, sometimes hundreds of thousands of
No,
dollars.
that wasn't recently. I think it was Arizona maybe just set like the highest auction
I think
tag
so.
for a mule deer.
$1 million.
It was yeah, it was like it was a lot.
Yeah, yeah,
I
it's
was like,
pretty.
holy cow.
Owner of Jimmy John's, he's real big into it, and I think he's the one that bought the mule deer tag for Antelope Island last year, and it was over a half a million.
Yeah,
That's in
yeah.
well.
That was
Uh,
the first one, and then they just broke it this
yeah,
year.
yeah. It's one of those things. It seems like they're gonna break it every year now, but uh, it's crazy. And like back to the sheep, you could do like a guided hunt in Alaska for like Dall sheep and stone sheep in Canada, but you're still looking at over 20 grand for them. I
Yeah.
think they might be getting more like 40 grand now. It's been a while since I really priced sheep. I put in when I was in college, I got really into applying out west. Um, so I put in for a lot of states, And now that I have youth too, like there's even more. Um, but I did draw a mountain goat tag last year in Utah, and I was the one draw, the tag draw or whatever you want to say. And I think it had 800 applicants, something like that.
Hmm.
So, you're looking at almost a tenth of a percent chance that I,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't have hit it if I wouldn't have applied. Like,
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. And that's kind of how I just look at things. I try to break down a state because there's like, I've hunted in Colorado, Wyoming, Idaho, Utah, and Arizona. I haven't hunted in Montana yet. And I applied for the boys in Oregon. Washington's actually not a bad state for youth, but for
Hmm.
adults, it's not. It's not a state I'd recommend. And then I don't apply in California or Nevada. There's a lot of guys that talk up in Nevada. Nevada has like great, I don't want to say trophy hunts, but great like management, quality managed hunts.
Hmm.
Uh, but to me, it's kind of expensive for low draw odds, so I stay away from Nevada. But with the mountain goat, like I drew it in Utah. Um, we killed one on the first day.
Nice.
We I started scouting for in August, and then the season was pretty long. It came in like September 28th, and it went till I think the end of November, November 30th, something like that,
Oh, that's
somewhere
very
in
good.
there. And I just worked it around my schedule, and I knew I wanted it to have longer hair.
Yeah.
So we waited until October and went up, and we glassed the first night. I had two guys from Pennsylvania, well, Maryland, came in and helped me,
Yeah.
and they came in, flew in, and should we try to take it easy the first day, especially when they're flying in, so
Right.
they
Yeah.
can get up to altitude. And we camped by the truck the first night, and we had glassed around a couple areas and found some mountain goats. And we ended up talking to a tag holder that morning, and he was going to this other area. I told him where we had saw a mountain goat, and so he went his way, and we went ours, and we ended up glassing a couple um, first thing in the morning, and we're kind of planning a stalk on one, and it just looked pretty treacherous. So we were like, maybe we should just go around the corner and look. And we went around the corner, and we found this big herd. It was like, I don't know, probably like 15 mountain goats, something like that. And usually when it's like bigger herds like that, it's all nannies and kids.
Yeah.
And there was a couple in there that we felt maybe were billies. So we were like, let's get closer and see if we can take a look. And we snuck into about, I think 700, 800 yards. And we could tell there was at least two good billies in the group. And I think I left the guys. The guys stayed on a glassing knob, and I had to make like a big loop to come in on them without being like in view the whole time.
Yeah.
And um, I did that, and I think it took me like 2.5 hours, 2.5 to 3 hours to make my loop to cut 600 yards. And when I got in there, I wasn't certain which one we were looking at. I couldn't see the length. Like I was trying to be picky because it was a once in a lifetime thing. And I could see one had massive bases, and I knew that was the billy. The billies, they are tough to tell, um, but the billies have more mass
Mm.
um, than the nannies. The nannies can get just as tall on their horn length, but they don't have the mass. Um, and like some of those older nannies they, they look just as like an old goat. The billies have a little more of a horse face
Okay.
uh, when they're older, but that's kind of hard to tell when you're looking through glass. It's easy to
Yeah. Yeah.
on the animal, but so this billy, I was really going off that base, and I was like, man, it looks good, but I can't see his length. The way like the rock was behind him, I kind of had a glare and couldn't see his length. But I was pretty certain that was the big goat we were looking at earlier. Um, and he was laying, just chewing his cud, and I didn't like taking that shot because I could only see like his upper third of the body. So
Uh
I
huh.
waited. I was like, I'm gonna wait until he stands up, and he stood up. And I don't know, after maybe 40 minutes of watching him or something, took a couple steps and I nailed him. Uh, and he ended up turning out he actually made minimum Boone and Crockett, so he was a good
Nice.
goat. But it was funny because we've me and these other boys, we've hunted all our lives for whitetails and never saw Boone and Crockett deer. And then,
Yep.
one time mountain goat hunting and we ended up tagging. It was pretty wild. And we ended up talking to that tag holder on the way out, the guy we saw in the morning, and he
Yeah.
ended up seeing a nanny over on the other side. But he said she had really long lens, but they were certain it was a nanny. And we started looking at the one we almost stalked that morning, and I'm pretty sure it was a nanny. The more you look, like, another interesting thing about them when you're trying to identify their sex is uh, they'll pee like horses. So the males will like stretch out and
Yeah.
pee,
Okay.
and females will kind of squat. So like if you're watching them long enough, you can catch them doing that, and that can help you too. But
Yeah.
the basis is what got him killed. So
I guess it worked. Definitely worked out, I'd say.
yeah, but I
Jeez.
had been putting in for them for 12 years when I finally drew that tag.
Okay. So does that uh are they one that has like the points thing? How does like all that stuff work out there?
So every state's different. Utah is like bonus points. So bonus points are like extra names in a hat. So like for me, I had 12 bonus points. So my hat was, or my name was in that hat 12 times. Somebody with 30 bonus points had their name in the hat 30 times. Um, Whereas like Colorado is preference points. So the way preference points works is like, for instance, I think I have 7 elk points in Colorado right now. If I apply for a unit that takes last year, say it took 6 points, they're going to look at your high point holders first. So if someone put in for it with 8 points, he's going to draw over the person with 7 points, even if it only took 5 points last year.
How do
Does
you
that
get the points?
every year you apply, and if you
Okay.
don't draw, you'll get a point.
Okay. Okay.
Some states will sell you just a point, so like you don't always have to apply. Like for instance, if I don't know, for instance, if you're in the military and you know you're going to be deployed,
Right.
um, then you could just buy points. There's no sense in applying for an actual hunt if you know you can't hunt it. So
Right.
you
Okay.
just buy. Sometimes it's a little cheaper. That's actually how I kind of started because when I was in college, I knew I couldn't like afford some of these Western hunts,
Yeah.
so I was just building points. And Utah was the state I started in. I don't know if Utah's the best now, but so Utah does bonus points. Colorado does preference points. Wyoming does preference points. A lot of the states that do preference points kind of split their draw though. So like Wyoming will do, I think it's like 80% goes to your preference point draw, which
Hmm.
is your top holder, your top point holder is going to be who draws. But that's for each uh, hunt unit.
Okay. Yeah.
So certain hunt units are gonna are in high demand. The more high demand it takes, the more points it's gonna take. There's always hunts that don't take any points or take very low points. There's always something available. It just takes a little digging to find them sometimes.
Okay.
And they're not gonna be like, you might have more competition from hunters. It might be a more private land heavy unit, um, things like that. Uh, but they also do a 20% tag allocation for the random draw, which means like everybody has equal chances. If 100 guys put in for it, and we'll say it's a unit that gives out 100 tags, non-residents are only going to get 10 of those tags,
Okay.
or whatever Wyoming split is. I think it's 10%, but it might be more than that. I think it's 10. So we'll say, well, non-residents are going to get 10 of those tags. Um, 8 of those tags are going to go to the highest point holders in that apply, and then 2 of those tags are going to go to random drawers. So like,
Okay.
there's potential you could draw with 0 points.
Okay. Yeah.
You'd have to be really lucky, but you can do that. Um, and like Idaho and New Mexico, they don't have any points, so everybody's always on the same level from day one. And it doesn't matter if you applied 10 years or if you just started applying. Um,
Okay.
a, a lot of people don't like that, but at the same time, I think it's great. I think random draws are the best. I think it's the
Yeah.
most fair. Um, because the big problem with preference points is as the demand for units starts, you get what's called point creep. So I'll put out the unit I've been trying to draw for Colorado for elk. I started. Well, actually, I can go with the antelope tag I drew a couple years ago. Um, I drew it with 9 points. When I started, that tag only took like I think 6 points, and
Mm.
then it slowly crapped up, and it took 9 points for me to draw it. I think I'd have to double check, but for some reason I think it took like 11 last year, so it's still going up.
Wow.
And here the last couple years it really jumped. My brother-in-law, he's been chasing an elk tag, and the non-resident every year he applies, it literally goes up 1 point. So he gains 1 point, but so does the unit. So it's
Jeez.
literally every year he's just chasing his tail.
Yeah.
And that's one problem with like preference points. It's just as you kind of I think you get a little heavy, top heavy. And like
Hmm.
Colorado started their preference points I think in the 90s, like 91. Um, so like you can have over 30 points,
Jeez.
the top holders. And a lot of those people are either old guys that aren't even hunting and they're just buying points or somehow on some automatic thing and they're not applying, or they're
Yeah.
dead, or I don't know. But I think a lot of those point holders, some people are just building points to build points. So they
Okay.
get top heavy, and then when they finally decide to cash in, they might decide to cash in 30 points on like a 15-point unit. Well, that wipes out, that eliminates someone with 15 points from drawing a 15-point unit. So, then next year he has 16 points and he might be looking at the same unit again. And it could happen again where someone with 20 points decides to burn it and go in.
Yeah.
It's tricky. That's why I kind of like bonus points a little bit for that, but at the same time, I don't know. It's tricky too. So like in Utah, I drew with 12 points. I was the only non-resident that drew that tag.
Cool.
Um, the way Utah works is they call it bonus points, but really it's kind of a hybrid. Um, if there's three tags going to non-residents, two of the tags will go to the top point holders, almost like preference points, and then one
Okay.
tag will go to like a random.
Okay.
Um, so in that way, and that is their theory of helping to trim that top, but and still filter off the bottom. It works well for like deer and elk, I think, but for some of your once in a lifetime species, it can be pretty hard because a lot of them you're only getting one tag off a unit every year anyway.
Yeah.
Uh, and then Montana's an interesting one too, and we just started. So everybody probably has heard of like the Missouri Breaks in Montana.
No
It's
what?
the Missouri Breaks.
Mm.
It's where Chuck Adams killed like a world record elk, I think, sometime back in the 2000s.
Okay.
It's really like badland country, so
Okay.
like coulees and canyons and stuff like that, pretty wide open. So it's I think it's a natural draw because you're instead of hunting elk in the mountains, you're hunting them on like almost like a prairie type ecosystem, so to speak, and it's just wide open country. So like you can see a lot of elk,
Hmm.
but because of that, they're not easy. Like doesn't make them easy just because you can see them. It makes it
Yeah.
fun sometimes because you're seeing it.
Yeah.
Um, but I find that hunt interesting and would like to try it too. So we started building points just to try to draw it, and you can actually draw archery tags there pretty easily. It's not like what it used to be. It used to be a quality hunt. Now it's more of I think, just an interesting opportunity hunt. But it takes like your odds get pretty good between like 3 and 5 points on some of them.
Okay.
And for archery, now for rifle, it's a lot harder because it's wide open country. Success rates are like phenomenal. So it
Oh
takes a
yeah.
little bit more. Uh, but for Montana, you have to draw your general elk tag first,
Hmm.
and their general elk tag is under a preference point system. So um, I think, and they have it split up. So like if you have 0 points, I wish I would have relooked that. But if you have 0 points, you can draw. It's like 50% odds to draw a general elk tag in Montana. If you have 1 point, it's practically 0% chance. So they split it up where if you're a 0 point holder, they're looking at it like a random, like so many tags go to random, and the zero
Okay.
point holders can draw it. But then once you actually get points, then they're looking at the highest point holders. So it takes almost 2 points, either 0 or 2. That first year, if you have one, you're not going to draw.
Okay.
It's weird.
Hmm.
So I actually don't get a point in Montana. I just put in for the random and keep it at 0. I think it's $100 for the non-resident for a preference point, so I just stay away from it.
Yeah.
And then once you draw that general tag, then you can apply for the limited entry stuff. It's all at the same period though, so you're doing it at the same time. Um, but the limited entry is a separate draw. So like, I have if I draw an elk tag, I can draw a general tag. I draw that, then the computer is going to see that I also put in for a limited entry elk tag, so it's going to throw me into that system. And that system for like it's a bonus point draw. So for the breaks, it's like you can have a percentage with 0 points, but your percentage goes up, and like that's why like between 3 and 5, I think you're looking at like 40% draw odds to like 80% draw odds. To me, that's not bad. That's 2 out of 5 to 4 out of 5. It's
Okay.
doable. It's worth throwing your name in the ring and hoping. Probably shouldn't like make plans on it until you actually get the
Yeah.
success draw. Um, but I think, and the bonus points are like $25 per species in Montana, so it's not terrible. You don't need a license to draw. I think you need a license to apply. You Um, so that's kind of we've been doing that. And it's like we're kind of we're looking at the Missouri breaks, but of course there's the potential we draw a general tag and don't draw the breaks.
Okay.
And if
Yeah.
we do that, then we got to look elsewhere for a general unit. And there's plenty of general units in Montana, and like one of the big benefits to Montana is its long season. So
Yeah.
you get a 6 week long elk season, archery season, and then you get a 6 week long rifle season. So even
And
as
they.
a non-resident, like
Yeah.
it's tough because of vacation time, things like that. But if you can swing it and you can hunt, you could hunt archery season, you could hunt early rifle season, you could hunt late rifle season. Like it depends on what you're doing. Maybe you're retired and you freaking can hunt.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Someday.
Like Colorado breaks down their seasons. Like there's 4 elk seasons. Well, really, there's 6 elk seasons in Colorado. You got your archery season, then you got a muzzleloader season, and then you got 4 rifle seasons: first, second, third, and fourth.
Hmm.
And second and third are the easiest to draw for rifle seasons. And right now, they're still over the counter rifle seasons, second and third season. That they just took away the over the counter archery stuff for non residents. Uh, that's probably going to happen to the rifle stuff too, but a lot of these states are getting a lot of funding. Like the money is there for them. So a lot of these states are getting a ton of money from non-resident applications.
Yeah.
So and from them buying licenses. So they're looking at it at like a cash cow. It's kind of a cash cow for them. And how do you replace a cash cow? Like that's what they're trying to figure out. So first
Right.
time they eliminated the archery. Um, from what I've seen on the draw odds, like you'll still be able to draw archery tags on your first draw in Colorado if you wanted to. But these rifle seasons, once they go to the draw too, I think it'll make it better for your quality hunts and those draw-ons because more people are going to be spending their time trying to draw, hunt every year because there's guys that want to hunt every year and they want to hunt elk every
Yeah.
year. It becomes an addiction. um, I don't know. From back to those over-the-counter units, like right now we live in Grand Junction and like near us is a lot of there's some quality units near us and there's some over-the-counter units near us. And it's funny because you look at second and third season, and I know they're over the counter, so I could just buy a tag in April and plan on hunting next November. But I can also apply for a first season, which the reason the first season is good in Colorado is because The elk can be a little pre-rutty or post-rutty, so they can still have a little, might still be a little vocal.
Hmm.
They haven't been pressured yet, or they've had a break since the pressure because archery and muzzleloader are over in September. So there's about 2.5, 3 week window where they haven't been hunted, and they kind of settle back down. Um, and then the second and third rifle season come in, and that's when like there's so many more tag holders, so much more pressure. That will go completely silent. And then fourth season's an interesting one. I think it's kind of weather dependent. You're looking for a lot of your western animals are migratory. So if they get
Yeah.
snow in the high country, they're moving the elk out, and like you can get them maybe in some more vulnerable spots. Um, at the same time, bulls might start be bacheloring up and like being hidden in some secluded canyons, whereas the cows are grouping up into like winter herds. Um, that fourth season doesn't have a lot of tags, so like the pressure's kind of it's already happened, so they're already in the dark, nasty canyons and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But at least you're not surrounded by a bunch of hunters when you're out there hunting. It's more, can I get there to these canyons with the weather that we've had or
Yeah.
whatever? And
Okay.
if you have bad weather, then they could be really far in there, and that can be difficult too.
All right. Yeah. That's yeah. That I mean, yeah. That's just something we've kind of started looking at now. Just all the different states and the opportunities for each one, and how trying to figure out like that point system,
Yeah,
because being from the eastern side of the country, it's we don't have that here.
right,
So I mean, like for Virginia, um, there's they you can put in for a drawing for elk in Virginia, and they only give out 5 tags,
right.
and it's a $5
On an
fee
app.
to apply. But I think 4 of them go to in-state, one goes out of state. So I mean, it's
Yeah,
it's weird that there's a higher chance of us going to hunt out there than in our own state.
it's a big difference on the herd sizes too.
Oh
Um,
yeah, yeah.
like Colorado has the most elk. There's a lot of elk in Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest herd. I think I'm not certain. I think Idaho's the second. Wyoming, we got a. I drew a general tag in Wyoming last year and hunted the archery season, and it took me 5 years just to draw a general tag in Wyoming
Hmm.
as a non-resident. And to me, that's like a steep price to pay for a general hunt.
Okay. Yeah.
But we'll say like the quality of that Wyoming hunt was pretty good, and I didn't put in for points this year. I didn't restart building them up. I feel like I'm already spread thin enough with what I'm applying for, so I held off. But I plan on applying for the boys. So like, there's a lot of benefits for youth. Wyoming's a great example. Like for for me to get a point and just purchase a point and not actually apply, it's $50 for an elk point.
Okay. Yeah.
So 5 years, I was at 6 years, so I essentially had $300. My brother-in-law had 4 points. He had
Mm.
$200 in it, and then we averaged it. So that's how we had 5 points because it averages. Not
Okay.
every state like that. So like Colorado, if I had 6 points and he had 4 points, it'll look at the lowest point holder. So it'd look at 4 points. Wyoming is nice in that if you can find someone with a bunch of points in Wyoming and you can point share, that's kind of like a nice little cheat. But you got to find someone
Okay.
with say 10 points and you have zero. You can either buy them out. Buy them out. I don't think legally you can do that. uh, there's ways around things like that. But it was a good hunt. We didn't kill one. We had my brother-in-law hit one, and we didn't. We think we single lunged it. That was on our first morning, and then we spent a little bit looking for it. And but the quality elk we were seeing were good, and they were
Okay.
vocal. They were vocal in Wyoming. We've run into units where we don't hear anything. Um, but back to that youth thing for Ryan to get the same point, it's $10, and
Okay.
then
Okay.
his
Yeah.
elk tag. Like I think my elk tag was. Don't quote me on the prices, but I think it was $800. Ryan's would be half that. It's like $400. It's
Okay.
50 off, so it's a lot cheaper for the youth. Some states are dirt cheap. Arizona's dirt cheap for youth. It's like a $15 license, I think, or $20 youth license, and then like an elk tag's like $40. Whereas mine's like, I don't know, 8, 9 thousand, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
It's up
Yeah.
there. Arizona's more of like a bonus point state, but Arizona it's a desert, so like they don't have huge. People I think look at Arizona and see there's a big trophy quality. It has quality hunts,
Okay.
and because of that, it has a lot of demand for the hunts. But they also just don't have the herd numbers because they're desert country. Like
Yeah,
even
they
the
can't sustain it.
no, even the mountains there, they're like mountain islands, so to speak. So it's smaller herds and just they don't give out a ton of tags. So they're tough draws, but like monster elk come out of Arizona, monster elk come out of New Mexico. Like if you're a pine in those states and you draw, you're gonna be in for a good hunt. It's gonna be tough to draw. So I put in for Arizona and I do put in for New Mexico once in a while. I don't do it every year. Uh,
Yeah.
but New Mexico is another one. Like I said, it's tricky. It doesn't take points, but what it does take is you have to buy a license to apply, and then you have to front the permit fee. So for elk, I think that's $800. So you will apply in I think March for New Mexico, and it's like it used to be I think $65 for the license. Now I think it's in the 80s.
Mm.
Um, so you're not getting that back. You're not getting the $80 back, and then you put in like $800 for the license, and they'll return it. You apply in March, and then they usually return it. I think sometime in June. I usually have got my refund. If you don't draw, if you do draw, then you get a tag, and you
Yeah,
never.
right, right.
But New Mexico, it has the Gila wilderness, and everybody's I don't know back in early 2000s, mid the teens and 2000s, like the Gila was the place to go for elk. It's still popular, but I think because it's so hard to draw, a lot of people don't talk about it as much
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah.
Um, and then there's other opportunities too. Some states treat like antlerless elk as a different species almost. So
Yeah.
like Utah you can build points for limited entry elk, but then you can also build points for antlerless elk. So your
Hmm.
limited entry elk are your big quality elk hunts, and then there's your antlerless hunts. And like antlerless hunts are a great way to introduce yourself to the hunt. Whether
Yeah.
it's archery season or honestly, I think hunting elk in late season is kind of cool because they're migrating and they are in big herds, and it's typically longer seasons. I actually have a late cow tag this year for cow elk in Utah, and I think the season started November 28th, something like that, and it goes till like January 31st. And I haven't even been out. I haven't even thought about it really too much because there's not a whole lot of snow in the high country. So I was hoping to have them move down a little bit
Yeah.
and then get out after them. But Toby wants to go with me on that one, so we're excited. We're trying to plan it right now. I think around Christmas we'll go.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
So that's kind of nice. Wyoming's similar. Wyoming treats antlerless separately from antlered,
Yep.
and Colorado doesn't. Colorado keeps them together. So, like to me in Colorado, I'm not burning points on a cow tag. Like
Yeah.
I'll save my points for a bull tag, and I can, especially as a resident, I can draw tags. I can have an elk tag every year and still be accumulating points.
Hmm.
Um, so those over the counter hunts, they don't take away your points. When I draw, I'll put in my first choice, and my first choice is going to be um, what I would hope to draw, and
Right.
then my second choice will be like something that my second choice won't go against my points. So if I draw
Okay.
my second choice, I don't burn my points. I keep them, and I get a tag. And then I think you get four choices, so all the way down. And then if you don't get those, then there's leftovers, and then there's
Yeah.
always over the counter, or there was over the counter options, and there still is now, but that's going to go away. Um, but there's normally units that have leftover tags, and like Colorado has a great way of looking at it, and you can keep trying. It's a great way to just get a tag and learn. Sometimes you just got to
Yeah.
bite the bullet on it.
Well, I mean, for for me, I mean that'd be perfect for us because then, I mean, for me the biggest thing is getting the meat.
Yeah. Yep.
So I mean, especially with the way stuff is now. I mean, as much wild game as we can get, the better.
Yeah. I think that's the case for a lot of people. I think people forget about that, but like a cow elk tastes
Oh
probably
yeah,
better than a bull elk. Like bull elk stink. Elk stink. If
yeah,
you've never
yeah,
been around them, they stink. It smells like you're in a horse barn. Like they're
yeah,
nasty. Uh, and the bulls are just they're even worse. Like we've had some pretty. I mean, as far as stink is, but they just I don't know. Got to learn to cook them like anything else. Break
oh
them
yeah,
down
yeah,
and all that. But I do
yeah,
think cow you're just less likely to get that tougher old I don't know rutted up animal. You know.
yeah.
Uh,
I mean, it's the same way with whitetail over here. I mean, your
yeah.
does are gonna taste better,
Yeah.
generally speaking. So I mean, yeah,
Uh, Antelope's kind of the same as the elk, and like there's a few places antelope are very susceptible to like winter mortality.
oh
Um,
okay, I didn't know
and
that.
like, Wyoming is a great state for antelope, but they got hit
Mm-hmm.
with a couple hard winters, and so their antelope herds are kind of recovering right now. There's a few areas in Wyoming where they're doing fine, but there's a few areas that really got hammered, and Wyoming like manages theirs pretty well, so they're on top of it, and they'll adjust their tag numbers based on what the
Yeah,
weather did to them the previous year. Um, Wyoming used to be a great opportunity. You could get reduced price doe tags in Wyoming for like $30, and you still can, but they're really hard to draw right now because
yeah,
there's just not the tag numbers that there was.
right.
They'll get built back up as the herd builds itself back up, but um, there's states like in Colorado you can get an over-the-counter archery tag for antelope in certain units, mainly the eastern half of the state, which is a lot of private. It's private heavy,
Mm-hmm.
but there's a few areas to hunt in the eastern Colorado where you could hunt every year with a bow for antelope.
I feel like
Um,
that's a pretty tough hunt, though, isn't it?
it is,
Getting
yeah,
close enough to them for.
yeah, yeah.
Cool.
A lot of times you're either trying to spot and stalk, which is really tough, or you're sitting in a water hole.
Yeah, yeah,
But like those opportunities, they're there, and to draw like for a rifle tag, like you're talking a little while at least for a decent unit. To get some of those units that are like in the eastern half, you could draw something. I don't know. I think like down in the southeastern part of the state, you could probably draw one of those tags for like 3 to 5 points, something like that. If it's not a private heavy unit.
yeah.
Um,
Okay.
the Arizona, it's almost a once in a lifetime species to draw an antelope.
Yeah.
Antelope are tough in Arizona.
Yeah.
Idaho has some over the counter archery opportunities too. They're not called over the counter, they're called unlimited limited entry. So you put in for it in the draw, and it has to be your first choice, but they give out an unlimited number. So you can
Okay.
draw it every year
Then
as your
that's
choice.
for pronghorn or for antelope
Yeah,
or okay.
yeah, antelope. Um, Mule deer, it's all honest. Like Utah's an interesting one on Utah for mule deer. They have general units and they have limited entry units. So like the Henry Mountains are a famous area in Utah. The Henry Mountains, you might be you might never draw that tag to be honest. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
pretty tough odds to draw. And at the same time, they have these general units which are a completely separate draw. They treat it like a separate species almost.
Okay.
So you can build points for the Henry Mountains, or you can apply every year for the Henry Mountains, and you got bonus points, and you're building those up. And at the same time, you could still hunt Utah for mule deer, and you're not affecting them. You're just putting in under the general unit. So like
Okay. Yeah.
our campground was in the Central Manti unit. You could draw the Central Manti unit probably every other year, maybe every 2 years. And hunt deer, and like I've seen some studs come out of there. Like I think Utah's a pretty underrated mule deer spot still. everybody thinks of it as the big buck spots, like the limited entry areas, the
Mm-hmm.
the I can't pronounce it. Sackett unit down in the southern Utah, but the general units are good. Um, they might not be what they used to be, but they're still good. Colorado is a great area for mule deer. Colorado is probably one of the top states for mule deer. Um,
Okay.
it's just you could kill a giant mule deer, I think, in just about any unit in Colorado if you like. You could get lucky.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
Like I think they
yeah.
are living in every unit. It's just whether someone can find them or not. Wyoming, I don't know. Some guys really like Eastman's really like Wyoming, but I can't say I've seen anything impressive in Wyoming. At least not
Okay.
like, limited experience. Idaho seems pretty up there, and with the way they draw is like some of the top like the South Central Idaho's a pretty top spot for mule deer. You're looking at pretty tough draw odds, like less than 5%. But
Okay.
there's units that are like 85% draw odds, or you're getting up there. So you just got to pick your poison. Do you want to apply so many years for a limited entry tag and not draw it, and then just be like, well, whatever, I'm just gonna go hunt, or
Right.
do you just hunt from the get go and get skunked? And I think that's the better route to go.
Yeah,
You learn
I
so
think
much
so.
more by just doing it and failing than by thinking you're going to be in for this perfect hunt before you, because you're still hunting.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you have some tag that you put 12 years in for or whatever doesn't mean you're guaranteed to kill something.
That's right. Yeah, I feel the same way on that. I mean, I mean, growing up where we were, like Chambersburg and that. I mean, I I have one deer to my name,
Yeah.
so I mean, it is what it is.
Right.
Um, Somehow my dad gets one every year. I don't know how, but he does. I mean, I have one deer since I've been hunting since I got my license at 12 years old, and I'm 31 now. So I mean, I got plenty of squirrels. Is probably my best animal. I mean, I have one deer. I had nothing else, and I mean, I haven't really gone turkey hunting. I
Yeah.
wanted to get more into it now, and then now I'm into the ducks and that now. So hopefully, I can start flipping my success rate around here.
Yeah. Takes a little while. I think it's for me for big game, like even with Ryan, getting him out there, he's kind of been down on himself, and he had a deer tag in Colorado last year. He
Mm-hmm.
had it was a buck only tag. This year he had a antlerless antelope tag, and he had close calls on him, but he didn't get one. And I told him like one big game, you just get so many less opportunities
Yeah.
than you do on small game hunts, and sometimes it just brings out that killer instinct. Like I think, especially as a younger hunter, you have this idea that you want the perfect shot, right? I don't know
Yeah.
how many times I've had deer come in and I hesitated a moment to take a shot, and then they're gone, and you don't get
Yeah.
a second chance. Um, and I think that's just something you learn by being out there as much as possible, and like by pulling the trigger, you learn a lot every time you pull the trigger,
Oh yeah.
whether it's on ducks or whether it's on squirrels or a big monster bull elk. Like you're learning, and it's getting you better for the next time you're out there. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
and of course, like I don't know. I think some people are more susceptible to not having that killer instinct and have to build it more, and others are just naturally ready to go and get it
Oh yeah.
into it. But
For sure.
and like it depends. Some people start off really lucky and have great access to some private land or whatever when
Oh
they're
yeah. Yeah.
know, helps them build up a lot of experience.
That's like
But
where we're at now in Virginia. Like there's the closest public land is over an hour and a half away, and
yeah,
it's the only thing close to the northern Virginia. So everyone that hunts
is
public
going
from northern is going to those closer ones. So we either have to go over 2 hours south, or we have to, pay for out of state tags for Pennsylvania or West Virginia or something and go there because they're
Right.
closer. Hey y'all, if you're looking for a new hat, you might like this one right here. You go on, head on over to Web Western. Get yourself a hat. Use our code SLINGIN with no G at the end to get 10% off your order. They got a lot of cool ones that look like this. They also got ones like this, similar to this, but they don't have this one anymore. It's been discontinued. But you see where that sticker is there on the left? Or on, my right. It's got a magnet in there. So if you're out working on the job site, you can throw a bunch of screws on there, a bunch of nails, or if you're fishing, you can throw your hook up there so you don't lose it. Then get you hook yourself in the seat of the pants. But so yeah, they got some T-shirts and stuff too. But hats is the deal. Everyone loves a good new hat, and Christmas is coming up next month. Go on over and get your your country friends and family a new hat over at Web Western. Use code SLINGIN for 10% off your order. So
I can see that's definitely something interesting with like city hunters or people that live in the city that are trying to get into something like
yeah,
naturally anyone else in the city is going to be doing the same thing. They're looking for the first public land on the outskirts of the city,
yep,
and those places are going to be heavily hit. And it's even like that with the units out here. Like the units around Denver are
oh
sometimes
yeah,
pretty popular units, and like the further into the mountains you can get, the the
the
likely the better chances you have.
yeah,
But also understand like you have limited time, so like how often are you gonna unless you're planning on going every weekend and spending a weekend, like you got to make it worthwhile.
yeah,
I don't know. It's a tricky thing. Of course, it's always great to like. There's one benefit with a bow is sometimes some more properties will open up to you if you're hunting archery.
mm-hmm.
Um, there might be a property like I remember in Maryland, there's a couple properties that were bow only, and they were
Yeah,
like within. They're not within Baltimore City, but they're within that tri-county area or whatever. That's very urban, and they're small properties. They're, you might have to make a reservation or something like that for them. Like there's
yeah,
still opportunities like that. It's just finding them, and I don't know. I think, but that's one nice thing about bow is it kind of just opens up a little more opportunity for you. It's harder because you got to get closer to the animal,
yeah,
but a lot of times the seasons are good. They either come in first or they come in during the rut.
yep,
I love hunting the rut. Like whitetail, Toby asks me all the time what my favorite thing is, and I love whitetails in the rut. Whitetails in November are
yeah,
fantastic. And a lot of places you can only get that with a bow. There's a few states that do it with a rifle. I think Virginia actually always had a muzzleloader season I wanted to come hunt because it's right in the
when
like
is
dead.
ours? Yeah, it is earlier, isn't it?
Yeah, yep,
It goes with archery. The early archery coincides with the muzzleloader, I believe,
yeah,
and that's yeah. I mean, that is kind of the nice thing for here is like pretty much archery comes in October, and then you can about hunt deer the whole way through the end of December. You have
yeah.
like the whole 3 months that you can hunt deer, whether
Right.
it's with archery or rifle. I mean, we're right in the middle of rifle right now, and there's a longer bear season here too.
Yeah.
Not like Pennsylvania; it's 3 days.
Right.
So, and here, I think there's a lot of overlapping in those seasons with bear and deer.
Yeah, okay, so you can have two tags in your pocket.
Oh yeah, and like I don't. It's just I like how the setups for tags in Virginia versus PA because PA you just get your buck tag, and then you have to put in for your doe tags.
Right.
But down here,
Your doe tags just with your general license.
well, uh, I get they call it the sportsman's license, and it's $100, and it includes my archery, muzzleloader, 6 deer tags, a bear tag, and 3 turkey tags, plus small game and freshwater fishing and my trout stamp, all for $100. The only thing I have to add on is my duck stamps.
Right. Nice.
So it's freaking awesome.
Yeah. It's a lot
The
of
only,
opportunity.
oh yeah, the only bad thing is there's so many like deer rifle seasons are like broken up for like 7 different zones in the state for their dates and stuff like
Mhm.
that. It's you have to know where you're going.
Yeah. I think that sometimes really throws people with the West when they look at Western states and they're all broken down into units. It seems
Mm,
overwhelming.
yeah,
And the East is getting that way too. Like you just said, Virginia has 7 different areas.
yeah,
Pennsylvania only had like they had all the WMAs. If you
yeah.
look at their turkey seasons now, it's all busted up. Like you really have
I
to know.
haven't looked at it.
Yeah, their fall turkey season. It really depends on where you are in the state. I was looking at
Huh.
the one area we used to hunt was only like a 4 day season for fall turkey. The
Hmm.
other area I used to
Wow.
hunt 15 days. So like, and they're literally 30 miles away from each other. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's you really gotta read those regulation books and like not just I don't know. You can't just assume it's the 1970s anymore. You got to take
Or
account
yeah.
you got to dig through the regs, and I
Yep.
think it's really important, especially if you love to hunt. You don't want to screw up and lose those rights. Like,
Oh yeah. That'd be pretty rough.
yeah,
Even
yep.
though I don't get anything, so it doesn't matter.
The one
But
good thing
still.
is, I think once you learn a state website, and that's what I would recommend for people is like learn your state.
Yep.
Once you figure out, like, look in your state because almost every state website is set up almost the same.
Yeah.
There's differences, but it's all fairly similar. They have the hunting regulations, they have like an outdoor section, they have public land section, they have fishing
Yep.
section. You figure out where the statistics are. Look at the counties with the highest statistics for deer harvest or
Mm-hmm.
what they are. Just play around with it and like learn the website. And once you learn your website and like a state that you're already hunting in, then go to like a neighboring state or go out west. It doesn't matter,
Yeah.
just go to another state and then look at it and like try to find the same things that you were finding on your state. It's on there somewhere. You just got to figure out how to navigate their website.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good way to learn. Like they really are. Once you learn one, you can learn them pretty much all. There's a few that are still stuck in like 30 years ago with their websites, and then there's some that just recently changed them and they're,
I feel
you
like
know,
some of those ones out west when I was looking for different prices and stuff, some of them were kind of like, oh, what are we
yeah, I
doing here? So,
sometimes can be tricky to find, but
yeah.
they're there. A lot of times they'll be under their own specific page.
Mm.
Um, Sometimes you can just Google it and it'll bring you like I wouldn't just rely on the AI stuff that pops up. I've seen some
Oh
things,
yeah, I don't.
but it should bring up the page, the DNR page or whatever, and hopefully that'll take you to the right one. Sometimes you
Yeah.
can use search bars on the state websites too.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
I think I'm trying to think. There's one site I get on, Arizona actually. Like I know where to look now for the stats, but it took me a long time to figure that out and be able to get in there and like go straight to it. I look at stats like I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to that. I love looking at the
So,
stats for
so you're
different states.
talking like the harvest reports?
Yeah, harvest reports, draw odd reports, because they'll
Okay.
have a whole section for the draw odds, um, and then they'll have a whole section for the harvest. And then there's like subscription plans out there now, like Go Hunt. You can get a subscription, and that'll break down at least draw odds. I don't know if they do harvest statistics too. They might. Um,
Okay.
Wyoming's one. I don't love their harvest statistics are usually broke down like in the unit itself. If you go into their hunt planner, it's in the unit itself. Um, Whereas the draw odds, they have a page that has all the draw odds for all the units.
Okay.
Um, I don't think they have that for the harvest stats. I think it's only on those unit specific sections on the hunt planner. Most
Okay.
states that have, at least the western states, have some kind of hunt planner that helps you like navigate. Utah, Wyoming, and Idaho. I know those three do. Colorado doesn't. I don't think. Maybe they do. I don't know.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's definitely good to know. Yeah, we're
Yeah,
gonna definitely. I mean, we're definitely gonna look into it more, get her some more experience here. Then maybe we'll start putting in for some stuff out there. 'Cause I know she wants to get a camper, so that makes it a bit easier to get around the places like that.
Right. Yeah. Travel out, camp. I think that's a good way. Like, it's a good way just to learn the West too. Like, you could take a summer trip and camp, like,
Mm-hmm.
and fish. Do a fishing trip and learn the mountains. Kind of learn the West a little bit, and then you'll know what to expect. Because when you get into fall, like, you're starting to get into weather and just,
Yeah.
well, if you come out and you've never been out here before and you don't have any help, like, I could see that being a big step versus if you'd been out to that same mountain range and you were fishing or something, you might at least know
Mm-hmm.
some of the roads, or I don't know what restaurant you need to go to when you
Yeah.
get kicked in the rain. You know?
Yeah.
And even like the Midwest isn't a bad way to get introduced to not necessarily Western hunting, but like draws, because like Kansas
Okay.
is draws for deer tags. Iowa's draws for deer tags. The Dakotas are draws for deer tags, and sometimes I think just going after the same species but in a different state just makes people feel a little more confident about going out of state.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I
Yeah,
like it. I like
anything
it.
your leg up, you know,
Huh?
anything to get started.
Oh yeah. Um. Yeah. Yeah. So I know. So for when you go out for like say elk and that, you're always just going on foot.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, so
So
we
yeah.
most of my experience with elk has been archery hunting. I have a little bit of rifle experience, um, but with we've been in air for. We'll just go on this year. This year, I had my friend in Maryland and my brother-in-law had an Idaho archery tag. I didn't get an archery tag. They ended up selling out right before I purchased mine. So I still tagged along with them for the first half of the hunt, and I think they flew into Salt Lake. We met up in Utah, and then we drove up to the unit. Um, we went to some areas that I had scouted in August. Um, we knew a bull was in one unit or one area because I had glassed them up. I knew where some other elk were because I had glassed them up.
Hmm.
But overall, like I scouted three areas over a weekend, and the first area we crossed off our list. Like, it was no longer an option. It was just had way too much pressure, just from like hiking pressure. It was close to the Continental
Oh
Divide,
yeah.
a heavy
That's
trailhead. So we just X'd it off. Didn't even look at it. The first area we went was where I heard the bull, and it was a gorgeous looking canyon, but there was a lot of UTV trails near there. Not
yeah.
necessarily where we were, but because of all that UTV traffic, we were not seeing the numbers of elk we thought we should have been seeing. Not for what the habitat looked like and everything. We were seeing this one little 4x4 almost every day,
Yeah.
and we were trying to put a plan to him, and then at some point we were just like, we just got to bail out of here and kind of start over.
Yeah.
So then we went to the second area where I had glassed elk in August, and in, there was some hunter pressure there. So we decided to tuck into a kind of hidden canyon and see what was in there. And we didn't. What we found was disappointing.
Hmm.
So, like, trying to stick it out. If you're not finding sign, you just move. Just keep looking until you find the animals. There's no
Right.
point. You can't make something happen when there's nothing there.
Yeah.
So we ended up backing out of that. And so at that point, we had already lost, I think, probably 2.5 days of hunting, maybe 3 days we're in. We're about midweek. And then we actually ended up pulling over on the side of the road. And like, we'd been scouting, we used Onyx. We had been scouting all season on Onyx, looking at aerial stuff. And
Yeah.
I had that foot in the unit. And we still ended up on the side of the road looking for somewhere else to go.
Right.
And we finally found a spot that we actually all kind of found it on the side of the road. We all liked it. We decided to give it a shot. It was way off the beaten track, like by vehicle.
Yeah.
And by now, it was the first week of the season was Labor Day weekend. We went early this year instead of trying to time the rut because we've been bumping into a lot of hunters during the prime time. And we thought maybe without pressure, it'd just be a different hunt. So we were trying
Hmm.
to get them when they're a little more patternable, see what was up. And we ended up getting to this area, parking and hiking up. It was only like half mile to the glassing we were glassing from a saddle.
Okay.
We were glassing across the drainage. So while we were in the saddle, we were glassing elk a mile and a half away. And we immediately started putting eyes on bulls. And that made us feel good, of course, because we were finally seeing elk again. I mean, we were seeing elk.
Yeah.
We just weren't seeing what we felt we should be.
Right.
Um, and then they tried a couple different things. It didn't end up working out. I ended up having to leave. I think Wednesday night is when I pulled out. So we'd already been there, I think, since Saturday. So we were 5 days in, and
Gee.
they were supposed to leave the following Saturday. Um, and they stuck it out in that bowl. There was definitely a lot of elk in that bowl. And what they ended up doing was, because it was pre-season or pre-rut, the bulls weren't fired up. Even some of the bulls we were seeing still had their velvet on.
Hmm.
Um, so they ended up just kind of sitting in the saddle. It seemed like the elk were dropping down in, getting water at night, and then they would come back over. And my brother-in-law ended up killing one on Friday. He killed a nice 6x6 Friday morning, and him and my buddy ended up getting it out of there and getting home, and at least filling one of their tags.
Yeah.
But and I should say, my buddy at the first spot we were at, he'd hit a cow. He must have just skimmed her. We got really bad blood. We found about 3 drops in about 200 yards. We were finding one drop, and literally like a drop every 50 yards or so. So
Jeez.
we ended up giving up on her. Uh, Definitely wasn't, didn't feel it was a fatal shot. So,
Yeah.
and that was shortly after that. So I think when we decided to pull out of that area. But like if we would have just stuck in that area, maybe we could have stuck that 4x4. But you're putting all your eggs in one basket with one out, and like it
Yeah.
was just better to keep moving. And so like on one hand we were hunting on foot, but we were also mobile. We were going back to the truck and not afraid to just jump. I think from the first drainage to the second drainage we were probably 40 miles as the crow flies away. Like we were quite a drive
Oh,
away.
oh yeah,
Uh,
for sure.
and we've gotten in the wilderness areas before, and I think that is one of the things a lot of guys think of, like going out west and going into the wilderness. And when you do that, you're really committed to your plan.
Yeah.
And because you have everything on your backpack and you're going in with, I'm going in for 6, 7 days, whatever. And you go in there and you set up, and if there's not elk there or the elk aren't cooperating where you are, you're going to lose a full day to pack up camp and head back to your car. Um,
Right.
and like at the same time, if you're car camping and like hunting by your car, sometimes it's a little harder to escape pressure then too, because you're hunting. Like I don't like doing that. I like being mobile, so I like being somewhat accessible to the car, but I just like I don't know, being able to not lose too much time. And
Right.
when you pack way in, you can lose a lot of time.
So, do you think, or I guess I'm guessing you're able to, because I know you can here. I know for sure, and I'm pretty sure in PA you can, like the use of horses.
So a lot of areas, yeah, yeah, you can use horses on almost most wilderness areas, national forest land. Like horses are definitely getting you in. And I remember one of our first elk hunts. It was I think 2018. We were in Idaho, and we hiked way into I forget the name of the wilderness, but we were way in this wilderness, like 5, 6 miles, way too
Mm.
far. To me, that's we've pulled elk out a 3-man crew out of about 7 miles deep, which is and it's a bitch. Like it's a
Oh
lot.
yeah.
Uh, I wouldn't recommend it, but at the same time, like we were able to do it.
Yeah.
Definitely shouldn't like you should know your capabilities. I guess I'll put it that way. But on that hunt, we got in. We were about 5 miles deep, and we got into bulls. We actually perfect play called this bull into like 20 yards. I drew on him, but I only had a frontal. Didn't
Mm.
take it. My brother ended up missing that bull. He took it. He was just a little above me and ended up shooting right under its belly. Uh, and my brother-in-law was calling behind me and asked me why I didn't take the shot. And I was like, man, I just didn't trust the frontal. Like, if he was a little closer, I would have. But I
Yeah,
think he
that's a
was,
tough one.
yeah, I think he was 30 yards. And if he would have been like 20 or 15, maybe I would have done it. But I probably would have. Uh, but anyway, we got into that bull, and then we had to hike all the way down a drainage to the bottom and back up to our camp. And we did that, and we were like gassed.
Oh
And
yeah,
I was like, if we would have killed this bull, like, would we have been able to get him out of here? And like, before any meat spoilage or anything like that. And thinking of it like that, and in the bottom of that river bottom was a major trail that you could tell outfitters had been using for horses.
man.
Like, definitely had pack train kind of beat down on it. And to me, that was like, okay, I don't know. We found a little nook in there and got into elk. But I think for the most part, the pressure's in here. And the elk are definitely like, they know it, which is why we found them in the canyon where we did.
Yeah,
Like, if we're not willing to go in there and get a bull, then we're not going to get one. We need to get out of here and go to a new spot. And we ended up finding kind of our honey hole in Idaho because we left that area.
right.
Uh, and from there, we've ended up, well, my brother in law killed one there. Um, we've had some close encounters with bulls. Can't say we pulled too many out of there, but it was a really great spot. Um, and then it's just started getting harder to get a tag there, so we haven't been back. The area we hunted this year was a new unit completely.
Okay.
And that's the same thing, even like when you think of elk hunting or western hunting, I think it's good to have an A plan, a B plan, a C plan, maybe even a D plan. Like,
Right. Yeah.
be willing to roll with it and keep going. Um, and it's kind of that way with units too. Like, pick out a couple units, but you know that you might not be able to draw this unit, or that this
Mm-hmm.
might sell out, or whatever the opportunity is. Like, you want to be able to say with 100% confidence that I'm going to get this tag and I'm going to go here and kill a bull. But that's not how it works.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's like why it's nice sometimes to apply in multiple states. So like now Idaho is one of the first draws. It's like I think December is when their draw is. And they just went all draw for non-residents. They were doing this one line queue thing and it sucked. So I'm happy they're going to a random draw for general tags. But it's in December. Wyoming's due January 31st for elk. Colorado's due like April 1st for elk. So like you can kind of stagger your draws so that maybe this is the state I try for first. If I don't draw here, I'll try here. If I don't draw here,
Okay.
I'll go here. And you can have fallback options. Of course, some of that depends on how much you want to spend too, but
Yeah. Yeah.
it's it's an option. There's always options.
That sounds like it. Yeah. I
Got to
think.
be.
Yeah. That's something. I mean, definitely. I hopefully in the next couple of years we can start doing that, and especially with. I mean, I plan on getting a horse here, hopefully next year, and then hopefully get one for her, and maybe we can just bring them with us.
Yeah. Horses
Just get.
would open up a lot of country, really.
Yeah.
If you can get deep with horses, deeper than what you can, or like we get pretty deep with backpackers just because we
Yeah.
try to be in great shape and we're all kind of just mules, so to speak.
Yeah.
We're not afraid to just suffer. But I wouldn't recommend that for a lot of people. And with
Oh
horses,
no.
like, you could get in there deeper than even what we can. So
Yeah. Get a couple horses and get us a mule or a donkey or something, and he can pack in, pack out stuff too. So
yeah, yep.
yeah.
And I've seen guys do goat pack
Yeah.
train.
Yeah. I've
I've
seen
seen guys,
those. Those
yeah,
are pretty funny though.
yeah. I don't know how well they do, but the
I don't
llama one
think.
is like a good trade off. But horses are you can
Yeah.
ride
I
in
have
that.
seen a couple of like the llamas and that. They seem to do a really good job.
Yeah, yep. They have that right weight balance. Like goats just don't seem like they could carry that much weight. So
Yeah. Oh, I mean, we definitely can't use our goats. We have little pygmy goats.
yeah, yeah.
We have little dwarfs.
I'm not sure what kind of goats they are. I haven't looked into the goats much. I've
I've
maybe read like one
seen
article.
them, but I don't know what the breeds in that. So
I think llamas can carry like 80 pounds, something like that, 80 to 100. think they, I think you
yeah.
travel like 25% of their body weight, something like that.
Mm.
That's not too bad. Like that's decent. Um, Horses, what can you stack a horse with?
Oh, I mean, with myself. I mean,
Yeah. Yes.
I'm with me. Throw the rifle on there, and you're wearing your winter clothes, and that's a little bit more weight than you're just riding around in the summer.
Right.
So, right now I'm weighing in at 240, and so at least 250 pounds. For me, just for me myself, I need a bigger, stouter horse
Yeah.
um, to go all day. So I don't see how much would an elk weigh after you quarter it up. Well, I guess it's
Like
the whole weight, but I guess how much do they?
I'd say a big bull, you'd be looking between like 150 to 200 pounds, somewhere in there, depending if you debone it or if you leave bone in.
Yeah,
Things like rack. If you have the rack, that adds quite a bit. But
yeah. I don't
usually,
see why you wouldn't be able to put it on a single mule. Honestly,
yeah, I
depends on
think
how far you're going, I guess. So
right. And camp, of course, like can depend. I know like a lot of like those outfitters and stuff. They're using those big heavy canvas tents, but if you're just a
yeah.
guy yourself, you don't need that. You can take what we essentially do with our backpacks.
Mm-hmm.
My camp, when I have everything on my camp, I'm usually depending on how many days we're going, because the more the more days you're going, all it really changes is your food.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so maybe 40 to 50 pounds is what I try to get my pack at. Um, that's not terrible. Of course, once you start throwing meat on it, it gets a little
Nah.
terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I figure you know however many people you got, a horse per person, and then maybe however many animals you're trying to tag out, maybe a mule or two per animal, depending
Yeah,
on how far you're going, I guess. So
right,
it'd
right.
probably be ideal to have for a bull elk. Probably ideal to have two mules.
Yeah, I can
So
see. Yeah.
yeah, heck yeah. We'll have to see what's going on, but I guess we'll wrap this one up here.
All right,
This has
sounds
been a
good.
pretty good conversation. I like it. I love it.
No,
Hopefully, the
with
people
you.
watching love it too.
Listen to me ramble.
Hey, I'm learning stuff, so I'm sure people that are watching will learn too. So
Yeah, yep.
it'll be good stuff. Yeah.
Just go with an optimistic outlook. That'd be the biggest piece of advice. Just be optimistic and just try things. Try new things.
Oh yeah.
It's always
Oh
fun.
crap! I forgot because we haven't had a guest in so long. We normally have like a couple of questions we ask our guests. One in particular, I usually do it at the beginning, but I completely forgot. Like I said, it's been 2 months since we've had a guest or whatever. What is the largest animal that you could take in a fist fight?
Man, I don't know. Like kick their ass or just like fight it off and defend myself.
I think like you have to make them turn tail.
Oh man, I feel like I'd just go with some kind of plant eater. Uh, we'll go. If I was going like predator, I'd go like maybe a wolf, like a dog size, big dog size. I'm not
Yeah.
going real big. At least with kicking their ass. If you're going plant eater, I think you could go bigger. I don't know. I don't know if I could. Um, we'll go like just a deer size. I could chase off a deer.
Like a whitetail.
Yeah. I don't know
I
if you
think
could on
that's.
an elk. I think an elk would
Oh
probably.
man, I don't know. I think they can get pretty hot.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think whitetail's pretty good.
I always felt like I could fend off a bear, but I don't think I could kick its ass.
See,
Black bear,
my
not a
my
grizzly. I know
yeah,
a
no, no,
grizzly.
no, definitely not a grizzly. So my answer was, I'm like, I went with like a smaller black bear. I'm like, if I could get its back, I'm like, I could probably choke him out. But if he gets me, like, it all depends on the positioning. Like, if I could get his back,
Yeah.
I get to just lock in that chokehold. uh, my friend Corey, his first answer, he did. There wasn't much thought into it. He's like, "Yeah, I could take a cougar." I'm like, "What? Huh? Do you understand how big they are?"
Yeah. Cats are just too agile.
Oh yeah. So
I
he
think
turned it
he,
down to a coyote. But I mean, even that, like coyotes here, like the eastern coyotes are a
they're
bit
getting,
bigger than the western ones.
yeah. Do
So
you see many coyotes when you're there in Virginia?
we hear them here at night, but I have yet to see one. I'm sure once it
One,
gets a little colder.
yeah, one of my LA experiences is like seeing the coyotes roaming the streets like at night.
Jeez.
That's pretty wild.
Oh
Seeing them
yeah.
like, in people's, I mean, you're talking like apartment building front yards.
Jeez.
It's wild. Just walking the street,
Yeah.
2 blocks, and there's someone like walking their kid. It's wild.
Jeez. All right. Yeah. I'm sure we'll see them here once it gets starts getting real cold because we got the the chickens and stuff out there.
Mhm.
So
Bring them in.
yeah, I'm hoping so. I want to get a couple of them. I want to tan them up.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
First, I think they're cool. We
But
just had a trapper come in because we were having some beaver problems at one of our campgrounds. So
uh,
trapper come in. He got one of them. I think there's more, but he got at least one of the nuisance ones out there.
they giving them the slip.
Yeah, they were building quite a dam, so it was like I
Huh.
don't need that on that property. So
Yeah, no. Unless you want to turn into a duck hunting
yeah,
area.
yeah, it's too close to town to do that. So
Nah. Well, it was definitely very informational, educational. I'd definitely say I enjoyed it.
all
So
right, good.
we'll have to have you on some more here, maybe after all the seasons are done or something like that, or mid season something like that.
All right, that sounds like a plan.
All right, man. I appreciate it.
Yep. See ya.
I'll see you.